Okay, so today's lesson is going to be on how to find the area of triangles and trapezoids. Still focusing on area like last lesson, this time just different shapes. So warm up. First one is just a true or false, and the second one, I want you to find the area of a rectangle with a length of 53 and a width of 47. Remember, you can use your calculator. Come back when you're done to see if you got the right answers. So here are the answers you should have gotten. Of course, number one is true. If you're wondering why, make sure you come talk to me. I can kind of explain it to you. And number two, just multiply those two together, you get 2,491 inches squared, labeled properly. So a little bit about triangles. Now we know that you can divide any rectangle or parallelogram into two congruent triangles, meaning they're the same. So the area of a triangle is really just half of a parallelogram or half of a rectangle, depending on how it's cut. So when we're looking at that, think about the formula for a parallelogram or think about the formula for a rectangle. Both are either base times height or length times width. All you have to do then is cut it in half. So you probably can catch on to how to solve these just by thinking about length times width, cutting in half. Have this written down before moving on, especially the pictures, so you can see kind of what I'm trying to get at here. All right, so let's talk about the area of a triangle. The area of a triangle, as I was trying to get at, is base times height times half. Or the other way you can write it, and you can choose to write both or just one of these. You can think base times height and then divide by 2. So it's either 1/2 times base times height, or base times height and then divide by 2. It means the same thing, just it's written a little differently. So write down both, one or the other one. So let's get to work on using this stuff. So finding the area of a triangle. Let's say you're given this triangle, this blue triangle. No, it's not sad, it's just the color. Ba-dum-bum. Thank you. So what we're looking at is, the first step is to write the formula. 1/2 base times height, or base times height divided by 2. From here then, you just have to substitute the letters, or as I like to say, plug and chug, which might even be shorter to write, and then you multiply them together. So the base is 20. The height is 12. From the top point to the base. So all you have to do is multiply 20 times 12, and that gets you 240. And then one more step is to multiply 240 times 1/2, or you can think of it as 240 divided by 2. And half of 240 is 120. Then we just have to look at the right label, which is feet, and it's squared. So have this example down in your notebook so you can look back at it as we move forward. And here's another triangle. So to find the area of this, you're going to do the same exact thing. Find the base, which with this one is a right triangle. You just have to use either of those sides, the base and height. So plug and chug. Change B to 30. That's the base. Height is 24. And when you multiply those together, you get 720. And then you just have to multiply by 1/2 or divide 720 into 2. You get 360. So just another example to look at. Your choice if you need to write that down or not. All right, it's your turn to do these. Now, just like we did in the parallelograms and rectangles, remember the first step in all these should be writing the formula. Area equals base times height divided by 2, or area equals 1/2 base times height, or whichever one you want. I like writing it like base times height divided by 2. Remember, the second step is to just plug and chug, blank times blank divided by 2, or area equals 1/2 blank times blank. Okay, same here. And then the third step you should be writing down is area equals the answer with the proper label yards squared there. Good luck. Come back when you're done. Here are the answers you should have received. 3 yards squared, 33 centimeters squared, and 27 meters squared. Number 2 is kind of tricky. Remember, you follow the dotted line down to where the base is, and that's how you can figure it out. If you got those all right, come on over and give me a high five. All right, so let's apply what we have here into some word problems. Here it says the diagram shows the section of a forest being studied. We got to figure out what the area of this section is. So out of a whole forest, the big thing we're looking at is the triangular area. No different solving this than it was in example 1. Write the formula. Area equals 1/2 base times height, or area equals base times height divided by 2. Plug the numbers in to the proper spot. Chug out your answer into 351.2. Label it kilometers squared. That's all there is to it. All right, we're going to challenge you here. It says Harry plans to paint the triangular portion of the side of his house. How many square feet does he need to paint? Now the question specifically is just talking about the triangular portion and how many square feet. So we're looking at area, and the triangular part is the 1/2 base times height. You got to find the right numbers, plug and chug, come back when you're done. All right, so the answer you should have received is 80 feet squared. The question was trying to trick you because you're looking for the base. But remember, this is a house. The base of the house is the same as the base of the roof. So that 20 just comes up there. That's how I got 20 times 8 to get 160. Then I just multiplied by 1/2. So if you got that right, give your neighbor a high five. And here's our second formula we're going to write down today. So now let's talk about trapezoids. Okay, this is like the big monster pushed in 2 sides of a rectangle. Trapezoid is really half the product of its height and the sum of the 2 bases. So there's an extra step you have to do when you have trapezoids. You have to add the 2 bases together, then multiply by the height and 1/2. Again, there's a second way you can write this. You could write it as area equals the height times base 1 plus base 2. And then remember, all divided by 2. This is a second way you could write it if you want. Write this down before moving on. So take a look at this example. We're looking at a trapezoid that has a base, top base of 12.5 and a bottom base of 14. Its height is 4. So now that we see all the information, the steps we follow is first write the formula, second plug and chug, and finally get the correct answer. So to plug and chug, the height is 4, so we put 4 in for h. And the 2 bases, it doesn't matter which way you go, is 14 and 12.5. So when you add 14 and 12, you get 26, then add the half. Now multiply the 26.5 by 4. You get 106. Then you got to multiply by 1/2, and that's how you get 53 yards squared. Write this down in your notebook before moving on. Okay, I want you to try with these 3 trapezoids. Remember, the first step is always write the formula. 1/2 times height times base 1 plus base 2. Then you're going to plug and chug. For this one, it would be 1/2 times 4 times the base of 4 plus 9. Add the bases together first. You get 13 times 4 and then 1/2. So I always do the 4 times 13 first. 4 times 3 is 12. Carry the 1. 4 times 1 is 4 plus 1 is 5. 52 times 1/2 will give us the area. And for number 5, area equals 26, just half of 52, feet squared. Go ahead and do 6 and 7. Here are the answers you should have gotten for 6 and 7. If you got them right, come on over and give me a fist pound. If you got them wrong, come on over so I can help you. All right, here are your 2 box of thoughts. Now, some of you have been getting a little sloppy with your box of thoughts and not using full sentences and not showing me you truly understand how to do these processes because you're not giving me really good, strong answers. If they don't look strong, I'm going to make you go back and do it again. So do your best here first time through. And here's your quiz. 2 triangles, 2 parallelograms. Remember, write the formula, then plug and chug, and then give me the answer. Good luck.